All right, the book is called An Eclipse and a Butcher. And the title was selected from the award-winning poem that I told you about, An Eclipse and a Butcher, which is about our watching the solar eclipse in 1963. And I'm going to give you a riddle. Think of what else happened in 1963, November. So there's a link between the solar eclipse and something else that might have happened. So Ed had selected several of the poems, and we had worked with the order and which ones were in which section. And he said, well, what about the title, An Eclipse? And I have learned to kind of live with poems for a while, or live with things and let it steep, because I didn't want to outright reject that, and I did want to consider it. And I asked some of my poetry friends what they thought, and we looked up poems. Christina looked up poems with the word eclipse in them. So it took a good week. I took a good week to think about it. And then I wrote to Ed and said, to me, the title poem should be An Eclipse and a Butcher. It just feels right. It's distinctive. And I gave him reasons why. So it was good for me to go through that process to decide why I wanted to keep it and not make it a rush judgment. So it's An Eclipse and a Butcher, and I bet you don't see any other book by that name.